choose me and I choose you. So when I wanted my wife to be an option, I studied my wife. I learned what it took to make me the number one draft pick, so to speak, right? So ultimately, if you want more options, you have to invest. This is something you've always known your whole entire life. This is not something that I'm telling you for the first time. This is just something that may seem confusing when I talk about it in terms of stock markets, but it's the same idea. It's the absolute same idea. Here's another thing about options. The last point I want to make on this is that in the stock market, options tend to have what is called an expiration date. There's a date where the option is no longer available to you anymore. And in life, most options have an expiration date. And an awareness of that expiration date is extremely important so that you can consciously make decisions in terms of whether or not you're going to exercise that option or not. And so one of the things about life that's really interesting and it's becoming more apparent to me as I get older, every year you start to understand it a little bit better, is that the options you have are going to expire. Most options you have are going to expire. Like your option, for example, you had an option this morning to decide to come and listen to me or not. Well, one day it's going to expire because I'm going to expire, right? You're going to expire, right? And so ultimately, one of the things that being that awareness has done for me is it makes me say, okay, I'm going to live every day like it's my last if I can, because I know that which is in front of me right now, the options that I have right now, the option to go kiss my wife, the option to go spend time with the kids, the option to spend time with you, that has an expiration date. And the crazy thing about life is that you don't even know when the expiration date is all the time. It's not the same as time value, Rosa. It's linked to time value. Time value is more related to the time decay, the decay in the value of the option as time goes by. Expiration date means that option's dead. So it's like the difference between getting older and dying. They're related for sure, but one is very different from the other. Getting older is not the same as dying. I watched my mother get older and her options declined as she got older. There was time decay. I saw her on a walker and her not being able to do the things she used to do. And I noticed that for many, many years. But that was very different from the expiration date. The expiration date on December 24, 2024, when I no longer had the option to call my mother and talk to her anymore, that was very different from watching her get older. Like talking to an older woman was different from talking to her as a younger woman, but things really changed when she was gone, right? So the expiration date is linked to the time decay, but it's not the same, right? And I don't want to talk about that too much because every time I talk about my mother, my stomach sinks a little bit. So don't waste your options. Think about what your options are. And if you don't have enough options, create options because options have value and options give you leverage. So I encourage you, think about this in your life. And I guarantee you it'll give you an ROI, but it won't just be money. It's money. Money is part of it. We always talk about money, but it'll give you something more valuable than money. It'll give you wealth. Wealth is not typically money.